And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, elves and zebras, gypsies and the sheep, to a nickel episode. Yay! We're rich. We have a freaking nickel. Oh, yeah. I guess, if you didn't hear her, she said, "You can't say we don't have no money." That sucks. Okay, I wanted to talk about something because I just saw something posted on Facebook, and somebody had posted something about witches throughout the world are going to do spells on Donald Trump. No, really, really, and somebody, the person who posted it prefaced the post by saying something about Democrats. No, but one of the people that commented is a witch, and she said we're not all Democrats, and that's right. Okay, that's something. I want to talk about atheist organizations and publications. Yeah, I know. If you can't hear her, so I'm sorry, but you can't hear that. So if I smile or laugh at something or whatever, my wife is saying things and you can't hear her. So I get to hear her beautiful voice and not you. You're welcome, hon. So anyway, I made a video just the other day about fake atheists, which I've made before. I mean, it's nothing. Ooh, I found a dime. Oh wow, look at that. A whole freaking dime. Now we have 2 pennies, no, 3 pennies, a nickel and a dime. Yay! We also have this was my late wife's, but we can't get these apart. At least I haven't really tried, but I'm not going to. But so anyway, I used to be pagan. Okay, I went from being a Christian to being agnostic, to being a pagan, particularly Druidism. The thing is, my outlook on paganism is this. For everything you can come up with against Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, any, name your religion, you can do the same thing with any pagan religion. So, to me, it's just a bunch of... All religion is essentially, in my book, I'm not saying to anybody else, but from my perspective, religion, period, is nonsense. Okay, not necessarily nonsense, because there are good things in religion. I'm not gonna sit here and say everything that's religious is bad, because it's not. There are good things within religion. What? Oh, so I would probably, how do I put it? I would like to subscribe to some atheist publications, as well as to some pagan publications, particularly Druidism, but I don't. And the reason is, the publishers, the leadership, are all far left wing. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm not interested. If you have a Druid publication and you bring politics into it, then it's no longer a Druid publication, so it's gone. If it is an atheist publication and you bring politics into it, it is no longer an atheist publication, it is a political publication. And I just said it, the vast majority of the atheists in this country are not really atheists. They're not atheists at all. They worship the freaking state. That's not atheism. I'm an atheist. I have no religious beliefs. I do not worship people. I do not worship the state. I worship nothing. I have not replaced God, religion, etc., with anything. I just stopped believing. And that's all there is to it. There was something else I was going to say on that. I can't remember, but like I said, I would really like to be able... That is booze leg, almost his butt. So be careful. So I would really like to. Oh, another problem I have with some pagan publications is the lack of knowledge, the lack of authority in what they say about history. About, for instance, I got into an argument with people in one organization over the issue of dialects of Spanish. They were claiming, well, where I'm from, in Cadiz, in Andalusia, that we don't have our own dialect of Spanish. Yes, we do! Don't tell me that we don't speak differently than people from other parts of Spain. We do. Okay? Jeez. And you're supposed to be an authority on the subject. You're telling me something that's wrong. No, I'm not going to listen. You do that, you actually argue with me about it, and you're wrong. You're wrong. That's all. You know, I'm wrong on a lot of things. And, you know, so you're wrong, you're wrong. So what? We all get things wrong. I was seeing if I had any more medicine. I don't. I thought there was something in there, but there's not. I'm not hurting right now, so that's good. So I don't need it. But anyway, yeah, another problem is when an organization like an organization I used to be a part of, and their reading list includes publications that academia deems the information to be wrong. The historians, the anthropologists, the linguists, they say information in book A, B, C, and D are wrong. And you only have 2 more books. Let's just say you only have 2 more books. And those 2 books are correct. Why do you keep suggesting people read those books? Why do you require people to keep reading the books that have wrong information, misinformation? Why not say, okay, that maybe one book has really good information on some aspects of things, but maybe certain parts of it are just plain wrong? Why not make it a point to tell people that? So, you know, when you have fake atheists who worship the state, i.e. socialists, communists, fascists, monarchists, etc., it's the same list over and over again. I'm bored of going through it. I could rename those groups. Really, they're all, in my book, the same. The thing is with monarchism is sometimes you get a good king or queen or prince or whatever, and sometimes you get a bad one, sometimes you get an evil one. You never know what you're going to get. So you could have a king that's very democratic, very Republican, as in not the political party, but the ideals of republicanism, as in the United States, not European republicanism. But you might have a monarch that's very democratic, very believes very strongly in freedom, but that person's replacement may put you in the ground if you disagree with them. So you never know what you're going to get. But with dictators, you get evil. Born under it, Franco. But another thing I want to do is a race card. As soon as somebody pulls that race card, like we were watching something earlier on the TV, as soon as somebody pulls a race card, I stop listening. I stop listening. Okay, people say things are so bad today. You can sit anywhere on any bus you want. You can sit anywhere in any restaurant you want. You're not relegated to sitting on certain bus benches and not others. You can go into any restaurant. You can use any water fountain. You can hold any job as long as you're qualified for it. Just in my lifetime, these things have changed. So you want to pull the race card like that guy. It was a black guy and a Hispanic. The black guy was a cop. The Hispanic was the one getting busted because he was driving drunk, amongst other things. They found other things in his vehicle. What did he do? He started saying, "Oh, because I'm Hispanic, man, you don't like brown people." And the guy said, "Look, I'm just as brown as you. It has nothing to do, with this." And as soon as he started talking that BS, he just stopped listening to him, put him in the car, and walked away. And that's what I'm going to do to you too, because I'm from Spain, but I'm of Irish stock, so that's very important. I'm of Irish stock. And have I dealt with people here in the United States who dislike me because I'm from Spain? Yes. The number of people, minimal. Have I met people who dislike me because I'm of Irish descent? Yes. Again, the numbers are minimal. I've met English people, Brits. They had no problems with me. I was the one who had more of a problem than they did. These are Brits. It's not like our two nationalities really care for each other a whole lot. Especially not historically. Now, when the Irish first came to America, we couldn't get jobs, we couldn't get housing, things like that. I had relatives who came over here and the ship docked. They walked off the ship. They're like, "Okay, we're here. What do we do now?" Well, there was an army recruiter there waiting for them to get off the ship, and 3 of them joined the U.S. Army, wound up going down into Mexico, and eventually deserted and joined the Mexican Army because the U.S. had invaded Mexico. They did the right thing. They died, but they are heroes. There are plazas, there are buildings in Mexico named after the San Patricios, after my own family. You go to Mexico, you find somebody who has my last name. Why would they have my last name? I mean, I'm saying they would have an Irish last name. Why would somebody in Mexico who's not Irish have an Irish last name? There's a reason for it. Okay. Not just the San Patricios. There were other Irish, I'm sure, that made it into Mexico. But, you play... I'm not going to go and say because my relative 100-something years ago couldn't get a job, was beaten in the street, wasn't allowed to get housing, had to live under in the sewer or whatever. That happened to them. That didn't happen to me. I'm sorry it happened to them. It didn't happen to me. Nobody owes me nothing. Nobody owes me nothing for that. Your ancestors were slaves. Guess what? My mother's family. So don't try and play these games with me. My mother's family, they arrived in 1632 in Virginia. They were indentured servants. What that means is they were white slaves. They were white slaves. Does anybody owe me anything for that? Absolutely not. Nobody did anything to me. The thing is, my family were honest, hardworking people. Somehow they made it out of indentured servitude. Somehow. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they did it. A lot of people died in indentured servitude. A lot of people wound up, the master would be like, "Well, your parents died recently, but they still owe me, $500. $500 in the 1600s would have probably been trillions of dollars today. But, they still owe me money. So now, even though you were not originally responsible, you are now responsible for your parents' debt to me. I don't. No. I wouldn't play that. Hopefully I wouldn't play that game with anybody. But nobody owes me nothing. Let's talk about abusers. Do my abusers owe me anything? It'd be nice to have an apology, at the absolute least. But no, they don't owe me anything. Well, I don't know how to really explain that one. But forgiveness, and hopefully they don't do it anymore. And if they did continue to abuse children, I hope they went to prison for it. But they don't owe me anything. That happened a long time ago. I'm an adult. What people did to me then, hopefully those people aren't doing it anymore. I have no way of knowing. I know some of them died, and they didn't die pretty. So, I don't want to say that was their reward for what they did to us, but maybe it was. How do I know? But like I said, I will not join any pagan or atheist group, because at least the atheist groups aren't atheist at all. They're socialist groups. There was a guy that I knew online on Facebook. He's an atheist as well. He was a member of a group in Florida, I believe it was, and he had a dispute with them. He quit the organization, and as he was leaving, they were yelling at him, that saying he was a capitalist. I'm like, call me a capitalist all you want. That's not a slur in any way. Maybe to you it's a slur. It's not to me, that's for sure. I believe in freedom. More freedom, the better. Of course, there is a limit to, like in Keene, which is near us, there is the leader of of a cult, of a political personality cult, and he's a pedophile, and he needs to be in prison. But what you do is you figure out what these people are, and you don't have anything to do with them anymore. And when you're a group and you claim something and you're actually completely different from what you claim to be, like the cult in King, they don't believe in freedom. The atheist groups, they're not really about non-belief in deity. They're for state theism, state worship, socialism, communism. Look at Black Lives Matter and Antifa. You guys in Antifa, let me remind you, I am from Franco, Spain, a Francoist Spain. Look at what was going on in Germany in the 20s and 30s. You're acting just like the fascist. You're actually dressing like them in some ways as well. Do you realize Black Lives Matter and Antifa, do you realize who's funding you? George Soros. George Soros is a fascist pig. He's funding you. They bus you in, they give you signs, they tell you what to say, they give you some of your equipment, they give you some of your clothing, and you think you're doing all this on your own, when you're being told what to do, how to do it, what to say, what to think, how to think. You're not doing it on your own. You're being funded by a fascist pig. So, again, I dealt here with racism, and if you want the statistics, look at Mr. Larry Elder. He can give you the statistics far better than I can. Dave Rubens can give it to you as well. But, I find it interesting that the libertarian and conservative groups, or individuals within them, such as Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin is gay. He's married to a guy. He's a classical liberal. But he doesn't harp on his homosexuality. He doesn't harp on that. It's just an aspect of who he is. Thank you, brother. One of our cats. Sometimes he goes after his sister. I don't see her up here though. Oh, she is? Oh. He's after his little sister now. They like to play. I'm not going to talk about this anymore because it's all BS, and you know, it's just nonsense. I mean, it's just nonsense.